So, good evening, everyone, and we're glad that you could join us for another session of our talk series Manan, which was started as a platform for exchange of ideas from professionals to novice. And today we are very happy to have with us our alumni, architect Kush Patel and architect Ruchita Jagsab. Welcome, sir. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. Architect Kush Patel and Ruchita Jagta both have completed their Bachelor's of Architecture from Sir J.J. College of Architecture in 2006. Kush has completed his Master's of Architecture in Advanced Architecture Design from Oxford Brookes University, United Kingdoms. And Ruchita has done her Master's of Architecture in Urban Design from the Bartlett UCL London. They were also teaching as visiting faculty at a college for a few years. So they both started their practice together in 2011 and founded the studio called Ragin Karman, also known as RK2. And Ragin Karman translates to passion and performance in Sanskrit, which describes the work culture at their studio. The studio is operated from Mumbai and Ahmedabad, and they are both currently based in Ahmedabad. And today, the topic of the conversation is between ideation and creation. And they will be sharing with us a few of their projects. So we're looking forward to that. And we also have with us Professor Rajiv Mishra, and he will be moderating the session today. So thank you, sir, for being here.
Thank you.
So I think we can start with the presentation now.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much for inviting us, and thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to share our experiences, which we have been having since last 10 years or so. Today's discussion, we just thought we take this opportunity to share our different experiences while we were working on some projects, out of which we have just chose few of them, 2 or 3, where the programs were little not a conventional programs and of different scales. And also it is not to showcase what we have done, it is just to inform our students that what all an architecture project encompasses while the project is happening. So yeah, I can share like that.
Yeah. So basically, the role of an architect. So between ideation and creation, there are a lot of things happen. Big drama, you could say, and incredible journey through which you evolve throughout the practice, and so that is how. So we have taken few examples. So this is one of the example where, other than the basic scope of work like designing and executing and monitoring, these are few more things that we did between the ideation and creation. I'll just read it quickly. Taking tasks that are not in your defined scope of work because you understand that it is essential and it is important. So oftentimes, what defines as an architect's role is one thing, part of practice, and there are more things that comes. With example, Kush will be sharing those experiences later. Then sometimes you have to take decisions on site and sit and design and as well draw. That happens. You draw on site and then you give it for execution on the very same day. Then making negotiations for no compromise during the execution. So a lot of time what happens is the material procured is not as per your specifications, and then you stand there and you say a big no to it, and how you explain and make sure that there is no compromise in the quality of the work. Then sometimes, most of the time you are in the studio till 3 a.m., 4 a.m. or whatever, you don't sleep at all. So those are very common things, but on site also at times you need to be till 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And the reason is you understand the importance of this built environment that you are making and how big that things going to happen there tomorrow, and who are going to come and what will happen, and how big change it is going to make at an urban level, at a state level, and at a national level. So when you understand these factors, you just willingly or passionately do extend your work hours. Then at times, between the spaces between the buildings, there are times that, client feels that this is unnecessary or unwanted, but you still have to educate them what matters the life between the buildings as well. So these are few things that you also do during the time between ideation and creation. And then in middle of the whole process, there are times when the PMC is not in the picture because he's not able to catch up the pace. So the client decided to stop taking his services. And then again, Kush played a very good role over here in this particular project. He was coordinating with 46 agencies at a time, and this is something I want to say because it not to express his capacities. It is something that I was not willingly able to take it under us because it was a big task. I think maybe coordinating with 3-4 of them, and I was done. But then Kush had this realization that if I do it right now, and I will be able to learn 10 more things, and that happened when the project got finished. We realized that it was a very good decision and we really learned. So sometimes for your own learning experiences, you do things extended, which are, are not put under the scope of work or something. Then there are last moment requirements that happens, we need this one more building that should happen. And it just comes to you like 40 days before the event, and you have to design and get it done. So how does that happen? That also happens. Then client has his own client. So, we sometimes have to sit and discuss or, show the potential of the infrastructure to their clients as well. So that also happens during this whole span. Over to you, Kush. Next slide.
Yeah, so basically, example for this, whatever Ruchita was trying to explain what all it encompasses is one of the project which we did in Gandhinagar. It was an exhibition center, which was a facility to support the vibrant Gujarat venue, which is in Gandhinagar, which is called Gandhi Mandir. So this is a support system for a Gandhi Mandir when events like Vibrant Gujarat or any big exhibition where venue is required, this has a capacity of 1 lakh square meter of exhibition space, which is not yet there in one place in India. So this was one of the biggest exhibition center for particular time because Vibrant Gujarat has that requirement of exhibition space. So yeah, this was a facility which was a sub part of a whole Vibrant Gujarat event just for exhibition. So it was an 80-acre site, and we were supposed to design an exhibition center, and which we were supposed to complete it in like 15 or 20 months. Basically, and it was not a project as a permanent structure because this was supposed to be a makeshift arrangement where it will happen and you can actually shift the whole construction part to somewhere else. So because of which we decided to have it in a steel construction, which is a prefab construction. Also, we were not appointed by the government sort of agency. We were appointed by the event management company, which had got the tender for Vibrant Gujarat, which has been doing this Vibrant Gujarat since 5 or 6 times since it has started. So yeah, they were supposed to build a temporary structures only, but because of the client had seen some of our work earlier, where we had met to understand what is a prefab structure. This whole project was envisioned as a prefab structure, which may not be a huge project cost. It has to come into his budget also, and also cater to the requirement of an exhibition center. Yeah, so I'll just go through it. While the site was 80-acre land. It is a clean plot which was a helipad ground before, which is now an exhibition center because they have got a helipad for the government employees in the other building, which is a new building. So this was not used anyways. So there used to be event happening here earlier also, but now they decided to have it a semi-permanent sort of a construction. Yeah. So to have an exhibition center, we thought of an idea where we can actually foster mutualism, where like a trade fair center or whichever exhibition happens, people all come together, get something and go back again. So to get this sort of a mutualism concept to this site, we try to first get the requirement clear, so that it required a 1 lakh square meter of exhibition space. So we tried a lot of configuration where it has to be what is a prototypical, where you can repeat the module, or it has to cater to the whole segments, because Vibrant Gujarat is it has a lot of segments, like public sector, like private sector, then cultural events, and all those segments are there into the event. So we had to have a different clusters for that kind of facility. So we try to divide this 1 lakh square meter into different category to get the concept of mutualism or anything. So like it could have been a one single building also, but we did not decide to do it because it had to be prototypical. Also, it had to be constructed in phase wise. There has to be a simultaneous activity while it was getting constructed. So yeah, so these were the many different configuration, out of which ultimately we decided to have one of these where we could have, yeah, so where we could have very prototypical sizes of halls, so that we can divide. There can be lot more access points, so that there will be no congestion, because site was tight. It was a We had covered at least more than 50% of the site, which is not a very it requires more space for an exhibition center of 1 lakh square meter. Actually, it was just an 80 acre site. It should have been a 200 acre if you wanted to build a permanent exhibition center here. But because it was a semi-permanent and it was a support system, so this was fine. And this was a makeshift arrangement. This can actually move to anywhere. It's built totally on nut bolt. It's not a permanent construction. Yeah. So to foster or to give an identity of these mutual activities, we had introduced some element which Rita was mentioning, which was not in the brief, and client was against and doing anything about it because it was an added expenditure for them. But we try to get in this kind of elements into the venue, so that it fosters the what concept we were thinking, like people gathering here, meeting each other, and exchanging their ideas. So yeah, if I just go into the detail of the hall, it was a typical hall of 108 meter by 60 meter. 50 inside it was 58.75 meter. It had all its requirement of fire escape and whatever. It also had to cater to pedestrian movement while the event is going to happen. Also vehicular movement before the event and after the event, because vehicle had to come in and do their whatever installation. So there were like many access points, so that it does faster, because you generally get only 2 days or 3 days before the exhibition, and also after the exhibition only 2 or 3 days. So as many access point we can get, that we had to decide. Also all the services were laid, like all the electrical trenches, air conditioning was, we had proposed it through the ground, but then ultimately it didn't happen because of lack of time and lack of funds also, because then we decided not to have a permanent system. It can just have a temporary system whenever the event, because during our calculation, we realized that the venue is going to be used for only 100 days or something. So for 100 days out of 365 days, if we do a permanent facility, it was coming out to be more costly with the number of events. And if we do a temporary arrangement, it was coming out to be an economical expenditure. And it was, we just did all the laying already in the hall. It was just that the unit of the air conditioning will come and plug and play. Like that, we did an arrangement for the halls. Yeah, so this was some of the sections which we had actually proposed. But then instead of this underground ducts, it was just all supply ducts from here, from the side. That's how the form was designed. Yeah, so also the construction, basically it was supposed to be done in like 8 months or so. So to construct a 1 lakh square meter in 8 months was a challenge. So we actually educated and we decided all the sequence before the construction and what all it's going to have, like sequence wise with each hall. We just showed it to all our contractors, all our clients, whoever was part of the team. They knew how it to work, what to work. Like they had all the idea before they came to the site. at what they are supposed to do. So because of which they could do work very fast on site. So we made a prototype like in a 40 days time actually. This was done from the start of the construction to the completing of what photo you see. It was done in 40 days for just to approve of all the finishes, and it was a prototype first hall, which so that all the parties, like all the employees of all the team members who were involved in this event, from the government side, from the event management company side, or from the client side, basically, who are going to participate in exhibition. We just visualize all the thing together in one hall, and then we just repeat it. And some activities like these, like what this photo is showing, the simultaneous activity of the other everything, like this wall agency was different, this steel construction agency was different, the outside site development agency was different, the road was being built by government. I mean, there were many agencies working at the same time. So we had to actually coordinate with them, giving them particular details. Like Ruchita also said, no to things like they had already got this red sort of a pavers, which was available in their whatever availability was there. So they had got it, but we actually went there and removed it and put new whatever we had proposed. We were not expecting anything which was very expensive or something. It's just that they did not follow our instructions, but we made sure that they follow our instruction, and we use whatever material specification we have given. Yeah, so that was then followed. Yeah, so these are some construction images while under construction. Yeah, some of the details, sometimes there's lack of time. I had to actually draw on site and give it to them, because it was the work was happening so fast that they couldn't wait. I mean, that time we didn't have office in Ahmedabad, I guess. So I had to travel to Ahmedabad and go back to Mumbai. So it was going to take time. So I just did some details which was on site itself. Yeah, and they were actually executed as it is. So we were very happy to see actually. Yeah, some of the image. After the finishing, after it was finished, the whole venue was very active, because actually there's a lot of things in the story, but I am just going very fast, because a lot of things happened. It was a very short period of time where we had to complete this venue actually, because the image photo which you saw under construction was supposed in April, and this event was going to happen in January. So only 6 months were there. From the single hall to the whole site development with all the services laid, in January finishing, it was very, very sort of a difficult task. So we had to, all of us, like not just us, all the construction people, all the services people, because there were electrical requirements of the whole event. There was services like water requirements of all the parties, and all the marketing requirements was also there. So they had to also come into picture. It was not the project is going to complete. It was the event was going to start. So the whole thing, and this has everything. This was the first venue where Reliance 4G was introduced. It was inaugurated here. So the whole site was 4G activated with Wi-Fi and all. So stuff like that. So many other activities like that was going to happen here, which happened in like 6 months only. Yeah. So, but we completed fine. Yeah, these are the events. So with this vibrant event, it was one of the event actually. Subsequently, there were events like Blast India. Blast India is one of the third largest show for plastic industry actually, which they have their manufacturer, machine manufacturer, all the product manufacturer, and all the thing related to plastic. One of the biggest is K-Fair, which is in Germany, then China Plast, and then India Plast India basically. So it required a lot of services intensive infrastructure. I mean, I would just give an example. While Blast India was happening on this venue, it had a 32 megawatt power on the site, basically, which is actually a requirement of a whole city of Gandhinagar of electricity. There were like 400 factories, 400 manufacturing unit working, because that is the event. In this event, all the machinery or all the things are working, they had to put working.
Yeah. So the machineries are the product on display, and they actually display the whole process of manufacturing. So actually, it's like, you know, so many factories are working together at the same time.
Yeah. So they were like everything, all like you can imagine like 400 factories working on site. So it had a service intensive infrastructure requirement, which we had already taken care while we were designing, because we knew that this is going to happen after 3 months. So yeah, events like that. So machinery is like 4-story. This is a 24-meter high hall where all this 7-story machineries were there basically. So machinery also had requirements, which is what I was telling you, that we had to take care of a lot of other parameters which was going to happen after the event of like Vibrant Gujarat or something. Yeah. So
Of the architecture also depends, like though the building typology, it looks like, you know, same typology, but actually they all varied in different sizes and dimensions, considering the type of machines, type of events that would happen. So there were halls which were very tall, and there were halls which were, we did not increase the size, you know, to keep it smaller, so smaller events efficiently can accommodate, so we don't end up wasting too much of resources, and that way we can save on the, so that way that was a sustainable aspect to it, that, you know, the sizes were, there were different variant sizes that could cater to different events. Also the clustering enabled that at a time you can, you know, have 2 or 3 events together without bothering each other, because the clusters worked very well that way, with different exit and entry, and with different signages. So that was another capacity of the venue. And yeah, yes, Kush.
yeah. So like a lot of events happened after that. So this was completed in 2015 January, and whatever cost we had spent was recovered in like 2 years basically. So that was another achievement, because I mean, we see it as an achievement, because to keep the project cost in some particular amount, and also to give, also the city got a venue where you can have lots and lots of events. So not just the Blast India. After that, a lot of ceramic related event, lot of jewelry related event. All the we sort of happen in like we have it in Mumbai, and it's Nesco ground. Yeah. So that started happening here, and revenue also started coming to the organizers. Yeah. So this is where all the, what do you say, fostering used to happen. People used to gather toward this kind of point to have a selfie point and stuff like that. But the point was, after it was done, client realized the importance of small thing like this, a small intervention. Yeah.
So small. So even, you know, when the VVIPs came, then it was the only background that the client could, you know, offer. And this is where the Statue of Unity was also launched with a miniature over there.
Yeah.
And all things happened here, and the client was really happy that, you know, it was really good of you to educate me and encourage me to pull this out. And in fact, this were also the memory holders, because all the delegates from international, you know, who travel all the way from different countries, also had their exchanges at these little points, and this is where they took photos. So this became a memory also to many, you know, all the people who came over here. And of course, then, you know, it also creates a kind of a built environment which has a standard to it. So yes, so this was a initial sketch rendered idea, and then this is the creation. What I see as a difference is that there are more humans in the creation part of it. So that is again something that I really feel good about, you know, when there are more people in the real picture than the render, it kind of gives a satisfaction to the designer. So that.
Yeah, because it was like 15 lakh of footfall in 4 days for one of the Vibrant, which is 2015. After that, 2017 also happened, 2019 also happened. The same venue, and same venue is catering to much more. Like Blast India also happened twice, because it was so efficient. They had a good business also happening here. So it was not a program. It was not a what do you say? The flexibility of spaces and prototypical nature of the halls allowed them all this, and all the infrastructure already laid, which helped them just to come and plug and play. So it was a very efficient, what do you say, uh, program. And we also learned a lot of things, because not just architecturally, but because all the approvals for this venue was also done by us, in terms of airport authority, or in terms of the local body, or RNB, or pollution board, or whoever is involved for such a this thing, was done by us, because there was nobody else who could do it so fast. So we had to actually take it up in our hand, so that work happens on site very fast. Otherwise, it would have been a little slower process if there were many other people, if it goes to many other people. Yeah, so that experience was very amazing for us, which is what I want to share. I don't know if I had given a full justice for sharing, but yeah, I wanted to share this with my students, because all my JJ people, so that just to know, because this kind of program we don't get it always. Like, this is not a program which you get regularly. It happens not every time. Once it is done, it will not happen for next whatever 10 years or 5 years, or how much ever time. Yeah, so that was I wanted to share.
There was
Yeah.
one more fun experience that happened, that being an architect, you were also involved to design the route, the protocol route. So CM had become PM, and then so that is where they asked us like which would be the routes, and yeah, so that is one more thing that happened during the event.
So yeah, so this was one of the example. There were many others. I can share one or two more examples. Like this.
Kush bhai,
Yes, sir.
Ruchita Ben,
Yes.
hello.
Yes.
Mane jawu padse. See,
Yes.
there is a NATA exam going on. It has just finished at 5 o'clock. Okay. So I have to go now. What a wonderful project, Kush, Ruchita.
Yes.
मजा आ गई. एक गांधीनगर में मैं जाऊंगा ना, तो I will come there. I will come and see this project.
Please,
But
sir.
मुझे अच्छा लगा, you also did approval of this project.
Yes, sir.
So approval का experience कैसा था? अच्छा था? Did they trouble you?
No, sir.
कोई problem नहीं ना?
No, because sir, it was a project which is envisioned by that time CM, and now
Okay.
PM. That time. Indran.
Then so I think it was. You were very lucky.
Yes. Sir.
Anyway.
Yes.
But before I go, let me tell you that we are so proud of you, Kush and Ruchita, for being able to do this project. And I think you can come to college once, do a presentation to inspire our second year and third year students. Just come,
Yes.
share your experience, tell us what is it that you have done. And I think that is enough. Our students are bright. They will pick up very fast. But just coming for a day, we will host your lunch. We will take care of your...
No, please. We are looking forward to you.
Yeah, so please come. Our student council will get in touch with you.
Definitely.
And they will try to arrange one.
Definitely.
And it will be nice to meet you again. So can you excuse me, Kush and Ruchita, because I have to now leave in 1 minute. Yeah?
Please, yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Yeah.
Yes.
And please continue. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Yes.
Yes. So this is the second project, and this is again one interesting project we did. This was, I think, one of our initial projects, the first project that we were just 26 or 27. So this particular had component, the manufacturing product itself was a building material. So that was an interesting factor that happened in this project. It is a Sin Beam manufacturing unit, PV building manufacturing unit facility in Bhamasra area in Gujarat, very close to Ahmedabad. And another factor that happened during this particular project is it did not get completed. So like, since now it is the construction had to take a pause for whatever reasons from the client's end. There were some financial issues also. So it took a construction phase, and then it went on hold. and it was still on hold until now. It has come back. So, you know, the enthusiasm that we had then in 2010, we have to retain it again, and it is still there. So that is one aspect for this particular project. The second aspect is to keep the patients throughout the timeline, you know. So it was very close project was because it is one of the first project that we designed. So how would we know keep the patients, because we always want to see it coming up. So that was another aspect. And then again, a lot of things had already happened on site. So that was a potential which we could, many people, many clients could go and see on the site. And, you know, that is where they could learn about us, our skills, or our design sensibilities. So that way, this project was also useful. Yes, over to you, Kush.
Yeah. So this is a project which is in Gujarat, as Ruchita said. It was again a 60-acre site. It was a big site area, and the factory shed which was supposed to be built was approximately 240 meter by 90 meters, which is like a, you can consider one of our railway station. Railway station is 300 meter long, but this was 240 meters, so 60 meter less. But yeah, more or less similar scale. So it was again one of the fewer projects where we have a single plinth of 24,000 square meter for a factory shed, which we have done till now, and also a very big building. So idea was to actually not to show it as a big building, and not to show it as a typical shed building, which is generally happens in the industry. And we could not spend more in terms of cost, because it had to build with a similar materiality, because the client was a manufacturer of that same building himself. So we had to showcase some of his capacity of building the building. So yeah, this was one of the initial sketch which we wanted to build, which is where, see, like in a process, how we process our projects are, as soon as anybody approaches us or any client give us a program or a brief, it goes through a discussion from myself and Ruchita. And Ruchita is a leader for creating all the different ideas. So all the different ideas are created, then we choose one of them after having a proper discussion and with the client. So for this project, we chose this one. It was a most challenging one. We had many other options which were more simpler and more sort of a doable sheds, but client also was very excited and wanted to see how it can be built, because he was little astonished that if we can build this in pre-engineered building format with all the material specs which we have, then it will be great. So we said, okay, fine, we'll give it a try. Yeah, so obviously our outcome was not exactly the way it is, but it gave us a proper start. Yeah. Yeah, also it had to use the machinery. This is his own machinery. So it was also on the same site. So we had to build from the same site, manufacturing the component of the same building and erect there basically. So
one thing, Kush, for the students, I would like to tell them what is SynBeam basically.
yeah.
You know the I sections, right, for the PEB buildings that we use. And SynBeam is a specialized beam in which the web is corrugated. So it works on the same principle, like if you keep a sheet of paper on two supports, it will sag, right? But the moment you corrugate it and keep it, the same thickness sheet that gives you more strength. So this is that kind of a beam, which has corrugated web. It is very interesting because it in itself looks very ornamented. You will see throughout the process how beautiful it looks, and you know it also changed the interior look and feel of an industry. Otherwise, you just have one particular notion about industrial buildings. So yes.
As Ruchita explained, it also increased the efficiency of the structure. So this was again one of the newer concept which was going to happen in India. Only this manufacturer has this machinery which does this in sinusoidal beam, which increases the strength and reduces the weight of the structure. So yeah, so we had to take consideration of all his component and build a building with that. So this was sort of a site plan. If you see this building, which was already there when we came into the picture, and this is where the whole building was manufactured. inside a shed. And the whole this of, I don't know if you can see my mouse.
Yes.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this building is created from this building. So there is a whole machinery which is required for building industry. It's there inside, and it manufactures this, which will have a lot more other machinery to create again other buildings. Yeah. So also, yeah, one of the aspect which we take care also is process planning of any factories. If we are doing any factories, we do also process planning of the whole premises, which machine should be put where, and how much should be the space requirement and stuff like that. Obviously, to learn it from them only, but to reorganize and rearrange in our way so that they get the best optimum use of the space in terms of space planning. Yeah. So again, this was some of the drawing. Yeah. So this is like decoding that sketch and making it in a tactical format so that all his component of the steel component is used for this building. So there were many sort of complicated sections where we had to take care of a lot of gutter details and a lot of water cleaning details, and also to get it in such a way that it has to be prototypical. It cannot be designed where for the 240 meter we have different segments. So we just designed 122 meter, which is a 1/10th part of a building, which is repeated for the repeated and gave a different feel basically. So if you then it also after we designed the whole thing, it went on the site. I just wanted to share this image because if you see where we are standing, this is actually the plinth level. So we had to fill more than that the whole site. The whole site was down by 8 or 9 feet. The whole site is filled up by 8 feet. So that site material also is got from one of the we created one lake there on the site, which is used for this filling. Yeah. So sort of there was also given a what do you say, sustainable approach. So we don't go out and get another soil from anywhere. So it's same site because they had a bigger plot, and also because of that lake, now all the farmers around the this factory premises are getting water from there, and also this factory is getting water from there because it can collect a lot of water. It can run for 2 years actually. That much of lake is created to fill up this building. Yeah. So yeah, it went like after our detailing, it went very fast in the initial stages where we used all the components. So we created a lot of skylights, a lot of junction details where it gets a lot of interesting spaces inside. Like if you see this, this in a daytime you don't need any light. It is full daylight inside the premises. You can work with this light like that. We had to we could achieve the light environment. And also one of the challenging thing was to do curve beam with sinusoidal profile, which was also like because of our design, the client had to test it. It had to go to many sort of a structural approval in terms of his code, like IS code or something. Not IS code because this is not there in IS code, but it had to go through a lot of structural approval so that it can stand by itself, and we can get it approved so that it can be used also for other structures as a sinusoidal curved beam. So that was another intervention which was happening, and which was a challenge to do, and which we could achieve by design basically. Yeah. So
the product, and we are bringing it on the surfaces on the facade, and which showcases the ability and the strength of the product that they are manufacturing. So that itself, the architecture itself advertises the product that is being manufactured. So they don't have to really, they just bring the client, whoever is looking forward to have sin beams as a construction material. They see this architecture and then they are like, done. Because this is the extreme that we try to do what best we can do with this building material. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the light quality which we get inside. after whatever skylights and whatever intervention we could do in steel construction. And also, again, this is see, there are typical structures which you see in as a factory shed, which is a proper gable and proper pitch roof structures. We had to match it up to its cost. So this building is with the similar cost of what a regular building will be built. Just by interventioning in terms of some detailing, it was with a different form, and it could get a lot of light inside like this. Yeah, so that was again, because it's a first project, it was a very important aspect for us where we could achieve what idea was and what we could create. So the whole idea and the creation has a lot of differences, but it still gives a lot of justice to what we were trying to do actually. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, this was another project which we wanted to share with you. Then there's another project which is we just wanted to share different scale projects. So what we discussed first was a 1 lakh square meter built up. Then this was like 25,000 square meter built up. Now this is a 5,000 square meter built up. Same sort of a building, factory building again, but differently created in terms of its design and in terms of its intervention. Yeah.
So basically, this is a furniture manufacturing unit, and it is in Mumbai, this particular project. And here, the time was restricted because while we were designing, the client had already ordered some important machineries which were going to come from Germany. So we had to at least ensure that there is a roofing part done, you know, so that because the machineries were going to arrive during the monsoons, and we all know about Mumbai monsoons. So to make sure that, you know, the construction is done till that time, the deadline got more, you know, preponed instead of, you know, generally the deadlines are postponed. So in this case, it was preponed, and that was one aspect that happens sometimes between ideation and creation. Then the project came to us as with a different program of renovation work, which Kush will be able to explain you better, and how we changed the program. Then also one more thing that we want, because we introduced again steel as a structural building material, we had to educate the client, and that was also a part of this journey. So yes, over to you, Kush.
Yeah, as Ruchita said, this project came to us as a refurbishment project. It is in Navi Mumbai near Turbe. It was an existing premises which client had already bought, and because it was an existing premises, client thought to redo the roof and redo the floor, and he can start his factory. So that's why he had already ordered the machinery, thinking of that. But when we visited the site, we realized there are a lot of lots and lots of things which had to be done to redo it, and also the age of the structure. So our suggestion was to the client was to not use the same structure and do a new structure. But the client had already ordered all the machinery. So his requirement was, if you can do it in the same time, I don't mind. So, but that was a challenge for us, because we had to do a lot of other things than just the design, because if it is a new building construction, it requires a lot of different approvals, which will take little time to get into, and he cannot start his factory before those approvals. So which has to be taken care before his manufacturing starts. So also the construction time which requires for any building to be built, it was little tighter. But we decided to go for again a pre-engineering building, so that while the construction is happening on site, the civil construction happening on the superstructure can be built on in the factory, which is the most important part of the pre-engineered building. So yeah, so the program, this was an existing shed which he had already bought, and he required some of the extensions for that, and we proposed some of this shed to be demolished. So so this was we suggested to demolish this, remove the roof, the first impression, and try to have different sort of a form for that building. This was a refurbishment planning, but while designing this, we realized we cannot do it in the same grid because the machine required a lot of different machine arrangement required. But this was the first proposal given to them. It so happened that in the first presentation also client approved it and said you start your work. Now it is also again a very difficult thing to what we show in a first as a conceptual sketch, and if we start building it, it requires a lot of evolution during that from concept to actually go into the execution. But we had to do it because we had promised it that it will be done. So that was another criteria because of which we have got the project. Yeah, so then we decided to have it is after evolution, which was very less time, but we had to do evolution. This was a final render which was supposed to be built. Where if you see the orange box was lifted up so that we get a proper entrance canopy, which we was not getting it here. Also, we had to keep the same plinth area which was before, so that we can do it as a refurbishment project, not a new project. So the whole civil part was done new, but it was a refurbishment project because we did not change the plinth area. So we could get it approved as a refurbishment project. So it didn't require so much of time for approval and other factory norms to be approved and get it done. Yeah. So yeah, as I said, while the civil construction was happening on site, the superstructure was getting built in the factory. And once the civil thing was done on site, the superstructure arrived on site, and it was erected like in very quick time, like in 10-15 days time, and it started. So all this activity happened in like 3 months. So from the zero structure to this will be 3 months. So it must have started in March, and this was before the monsoon. We had to have the roof basically. If you see, there's already machinery here. The machinery is already arrived. They covered it with the plastic. The machinery already had arrived before the building was finished. Yeah, so that was a brief. But then we could do it before the monsoon. There was no problem with that. Yeah, so then another experiment, or what you say, pushing our limit for pre-engineered building was this cantilever. Because to do a cantilever with pre-engineered building, it's very sort of a challenging job, because all this pre-engineered building has a code to be followed. Which has like very limited scope to actually explore in terms of structural detailing and everything, because also they go through by contractors who does pre-engineered building, and they are very resilient, or they are very reluctant to do anything new because it's not their business. They will not get a good business out of it. So that's why they are very resilient to do it. But we could achieve that because we had done a lot of building before. They knew that what we are trying to say is feasible, doable. And if it is done, it will be a good intervention in terms of pre-engineered building. Yeah, so that was a cantilever box, which was 15 meter by 9 meter cantilever. And it is a boardroom right now. And it juts out properly and gives a proper canopy below the box. Yeah, like this. Yeah, so this was like one of the, so this is how actually our plinth is the same. So before how it was and now how it is, like in 8 months or 10 months time, it was changed to this new building. And everybody was happy because it was done in time and done with a good taste and with a very good quality inside the factory environment in terms of working daylight. Again, the daylight, no lights on during the day. We get full north light, we get full light from the east also. Yeah, so that's the building. Yeah. More, I'm just sharing some images more. Yeah, so again, it's from idea to the creation, and again, it's the same to achieve to the same view and build it the same way. It was again a very challenging, but we did not try to compromise anywhere in this project. Anywhere means anywhere, nothing. All the vendors, all the contractors, all the people are involved in the project had to follow how we wanted to make it happen. And it was a great client because they had trusted us so much that it actually happened what we wanted, and they are very happy. We'll be building more of their factories. But point is, the client also is a very important part of any project to actually realize. So yeah, I would give credit to clients also in this case. Yeah, so I'll just brush through some of the other works. These are some interior works also where we have actually tried to use steel. See, I'm just focusing on steel because today's our all the steel work is happening. So I mean, we are showing all the works with steel related. I'm just showing you some more project which we did in steel. Like this canopy is kind of CNG stations we have been doing. Then Amul is our client. Some of the cafes and some of the areas Amul we have done. Some exhibition like Ace Tech 2012 or 13 we had done some stall which is totally pre-engineered. It was done whole thing was manufactured in here in Ahmedabad, and it was installed in Ace Tech like in one day. Everything it's basically container based what do you say, proportion. Yeah, so yeah, this is more or less whatever I wanted to show in terms of projects. This is just the typologies where we have worked. So most of our projects include industrial architecture. Other than industrial architecture, we are doing a lot of residences, which I am not showing you today because the challenges are different in that. But I wanted these challenges to be shared more than those challenges in terms of design and in terms of the client requirements and execution and stuff, because these are more infrastructure level projects where we had a lot of challenges to face. Also, there are a lot of things, as we were trying to say, between the idea and creation, while this kind of project requires a lot of efforts from our side as well. Yeah, so that is what we actually believe, that creativity is the thinking of new things, innovation is doing new things. Yeah, that's it. That is what we wanted to share from this presentation. Thank you very much. Anything Ruchita you wanted to share?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, so
So those were really amazing projects, and I think this is the first time in Manan that we saw these industrial type of projects. And I really love looking at the construction pictures and those things, because like right now, as Mishra sir had said, that in second year we're doing these kind of factory sheds and those kind of projects. So it was really interesting to look at the pictures of the site and how that was happened. And it would be great to have you both actually in college and interact with you more, so you could tell us about these projects.
we were faculty, I think 2007, then we went for masters, then again from 2010 till 2013 or something, we were teaching in JJ for the first year design. And that was a good experience, also sharing all our knowledge that we have with the students. So yes.
We would love to come, no problem. But after this quarantine time or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
But right now the not working, right? You guys are studying from home.
Yeah, we're at home right now, but whenever we open up, I guess
Yeah.
it would be great to have you.
Yeah.
So now I think we can open up to the audience for any questions they have.
Yeah.
Sure.
Unmute themselves and ask the questions.
Good evening, ma'am and sir.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
hi.
have a question that in these tight schedules of construction time frames, how do you manage to establish a strong rapport with all the stakeholders during the project?
Yeah.
Your good name?
My name is Soham Lal.
Okay. Yes.
You want to answer, Ruchi, or you want me to answer?
However, you go ahead.
No, so it's basically, it depends totally on how you deal with them. It is very difficult sometimes. You have to manage. That is what actually also is a requirement for any sort of a architect or a designer who wants to actually execute whatever they have envisioned or designed. Because anything like small product to a big large infrastructure project, you will need a team. It is not you are not an artist. You are building for somebody else and with somebody else and by somebody else. So you have to have understanding to how to build a rapport with all these stakeholders, because it also we were learning. We were not knowing, obviously we were not taught or we were not having any other experience before that, but we were learning during this. It was just we got a good opportunity. We tried to grab it in such a way that benefited both in terms of us and in terms of learning and making ourselves more useful for larger interest, and also for clients or the stakeholders so that they got a product which was actually very efficient. I mean, I would say very efficient. This Vibrant project for us is very big. See, if it would have been a conventional exhibition center, which we actually see in Germany or anywhere like in the world, right now in India, we don't have such a very big exhibition center yet. I think Pragati Maidan is building some, which I don't know full proposal yet, but there was one proposed in somewhere in GIFT, but it's not yet there. Like we have it in Singapore Expo, or we have it in Shanghai, we have it in Germany, we have it in India yet. So this is like this for us. Obviously, if it would have been that kind of a project, it would require 4 years or 5 years to be built, because it requires lots and lots of funding, lots and lots of specialized people involved. So this was a lot of prototype of that. So it showed us that a 1 lakh square meter, how a 1 lakh square meter exhibition center works. But yeah, it was of a semi-permanent nature, not of a permanent nature. So it was not like what your exhibition center you see in Germany. Yes. So that's what we had to build. We had to be in our parameters. We could not spend much. This project must have been built in 1/5 or 1/4 of the budget which any international standard exhibition would have been built. But it hosted a show which was the 3rd largest in the world, efficiently twice. So, and everybody was happy. Everybody did this business. I mean, I don't know the numbers, but for the first Blast India exhibition, they must have done, I think, $2,000 million business they did in that event. So I don't know the numbers exactly, but that was a nearby number. So if that kind of business happened in that venue, so it was useful. I mean, it made its use properly. So, and there was no glitch. And why to not? I mean, how to not get a glitch? We learned a lot of things with the vendor, with the services consultant, with the contractors, obviously with the local people, with local authorities, with government authorities. Like we had to slog a lot of time to get approvals, because so they were like people from our side. I mean, I used to go, people from our office used to go to other work so that we get the approval as fast as possible. Yeah. So yeah, your question is very valid. It is a challenging task, but you have to do it. Then only you can achieve what you're trying to actually achieve. You know? Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. That you learn in your college actually, how to negotiate and how to work, which that you can learn while what you're doing right now. Yeah. And that too in our premises.
Yes, sir.
Are there any other questions?
Good evening, ma'am. I had a question regarding the sinusoidal beam factory shed you created. Did it so happen that you had to understand the capacities of the material, the process of its creation, and your ideation at the same time?
Oh yes. See, when the project happened to us was just this was our first project basically in terms of in Ahmedabad or as a big project. We were doing some projects already, but we were also committed to some other projects. But this came in a way that somebody was already building a factory, and I was working on a Sitco exhibition center at that time with RJBPL in Mumbai. So I just happened to show them some images. I mean, I met them in some marriage function of some relative. So they just saw them and they said that we want to do something different. We don't want to make a typical shed. So we said, okay, fine, we'll give a try. So that the sketch which you saw was a try. I mean, there were 3-4 more sketches. It was a try. We didn't know that we will be actually doing it. So after they said, no, we want to build this, then we had to actually get into what machinery they have, because the curves, the roofing material, roofing is roll forming basically, which only comes in one direction. So if you want to do a curve, how much curve is possible, we have to see. We have to do a lot of prototype also. Also the sinusoidal beam, the curve thing, we had to actually make 2-3 prototype, do a testing on in the factory and get approval from some third party which can approve and sign that this is actually strength is achieved and the welding is proper, because everything was, the machine was Austrian machine. It's a German technology. So it is there in European code already. The sinusoidal beam is there in European code, but it's not still in Indian code. So, and the vendor is still, the client is still trying to get into the Indian codes. But because there are no many other manufacturers of that, so it's not a very, important thing for a higher standard to get that into its standards. Yeah, so we had to know how many machines are available and what all each machine will be doing, because they were like laser cutters, plasma cutters, water jet cutters. All machine has different capacity. And they had like one of the biggest laser cutting machine which has a 30-meter length and 6-meter width. So you can cut a single sheet if you want actually, but you don't get it if you can. But the maximum sheet which you get is the transportable sheet, which is 12 meter or not more than that, and that too 12 meter by 2.4 meter, which is the size of a container. So yeah, whatever you can ship, that you can manufacture there, because whatever they will build there, it also had to go somewhere. So they had to ship it, right? They had to send it somewhere. So it had to be in that dimensions. So although that's what the one which I showed as a sketch, one prototypical unit was in such a way that there was no wastage of material. The plates, the size of the plates are such that it can be done in 4 parts of 1 4-foot width plate. So stuff like that we had to take care of.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I had one question regarding like how is the office culture of your workplace, and how does that reflects to your designs, your design approach to all such innovations and in all different kind of projects, the different typologies, industrial, recreational, such that. So
Correct.
how does that?
So our office culture is
Office culture is the name of the firm, Ragin Karman. So it is about passion and it is about performing passionately whatever we design. So yeah.
whatever we do with all the integrity, with all the sensibility of ours, anybody from our team, whoever is working, it has to give, if you are passionate about what you want to do, then you are part of our team. If it's not a practice where we are just practicing in a conventional way. We do a lot of scope of work which is not in our scope. We do a lot of work which is not in our scope, like and we have associates like structural. We just have architects in our team. Rest all the services we have to associate ourselves with other teams, which we are good. We have good collaborators actually, who are doing also very big projects. So they are experienced in big projects. Like we can have any scale of a project and we can do it because our collaborators are such, which are into big projects, and also small project with any specialized detailing also can be done. Like whatever we share today is just projects which are industrial scale, but we have also designed small vehicles like automobile, which is for battery operated car. We've also designed some houses which are totally in steel, small scale also, products also, like sculpture also we have designed for Amul, where also we got our consultant into the picture, which they helped us designing that and executing that actually. Yeah, so office culture is open culture. We are open for everybody. We have to have a discussion. If anybody who justifies or anybody who has a justification is followed. Like if I justify better, then whatever I say, it happens. If you justify your idea, whatever you say is going to happen. It's like that. So through discussion, it's not any hierarchical or any sort of what do you say? I don't know how to say that, but it's very open with
Yeah.
all.
So office culture is also extension of your learning culture. You know what you are doing right now. It is a extended part of my experiences, Kush and Kush's experience. And then it is a mutual collaboration between two of us. It is not necessary that most of the time, we just simply agree on same design sensibility. So we have this kind of discussions, brainstorming sessions, and then we eventually convince each other at times. So your journey currently would be impacting largely when you start practicing. So you have, banged a good question where I could, highlight on this, your current position. So, Vaibhav, you must be in third year, right? So yes, so basically, being a third year student in the environment of Sir JJ College of Architecture and the location of this institute is going to really largely impact you in the making of you as a designer. So how fruitfully you can use it, how enhanced experiences you can take it as a journey, and that affects, so it is not about, you start up practice and then the culture develops. No, the development of culture has already began, and you are right now part of that culture. So what I would like to say here, just as a such suggestion as your alumni, like, you can really, work on your, to all the students, you can really share a lot of your travel experiences. You all can visit to your batchmates' native places, like we did that, and now we understand how nicely we can understand cultures, different social aspects, different cultures, and different behavioral pattern of human being. So that helps in designing. So it becomes very easy when a client says certain thing, and then it doesn't become like a hurdle. You understand why he or she is trying to say it in this manner, or whatever he's trying to say. So there's a lot of understanding that happens, and that maturity only comes when you get good exposure with different places, different cultures, different identity. And I think JJ gives us that in a very abundance form. We had like batchmates coming from Kashmir, from different parts of, from Tripura, from Shillong, then from Bhuj, and it was amazing, So that, I think, is it still happening in our college? Still we get students from different areas, right? So, do we?
Yes, we get.
Yeah.
Yeah. So be very happy and fortunate that you have got that kind of an exposure. You're not in an institute with like-minded, same economical strata, same ideologies, or same lifestyle, So this ability of understanding your friends and going to their places and then learning new things is eventually going to reflect indirectly, largely, on your practice. You will learn how to understand the various aspects at every stage. So that is one thing you should take away from each other, and that's the best thing that JJ gives us. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So I also wanted to ask that, as you mentioned about traveling and all, so how did your place work, how the setup of the firm established in the Ahmedabad instead of not in Mumbai but in Ahmedabad? So how was that journey?
There in Mumbai, so we started from Mumbai, and like this particular project, the very first project of this factory building of manufacturing PEB components, when that happened, and that Ahmedabad is very famous for industrial, architecture. When the typology was changed, when the laborers who were working at the factory started showing efficiency because of the good daylight, because of the good environment, we started getting good inputs from the client, and the client also could give us some more projects, and then again somebody else would see it, and then they want, wow, this is what this is kind of our industry would look like, and we would like to have one for ourselves. So there are a lot of these manufacturing different, like we did a printing press, we did various different machineries, and we then got this, became a forte. So that is where we could come to Ahmedabad, and Ahmedabad is like one of the developing cities, so it has a lot of scope for architecture, and we could do justice to a lot of industrial buildings here. So eventually ended up with getting a lot of good projects here.
So I mean, if you are in Mumbai, you can do only one site visit in a day, and if you are in Ahmedabad, I can do 5 site visits in a day. That too 550-kilometer radius. So because of the movement also, it's more efficient to be here. We still did project in Mumbai also. So, but it was easier from here to do it in Mumbai. than being in Mumbai and do it here. Because anyways, I had to travel every week to Ahmedabad. So, and I still do it to Mumbai, but the other way around. So we are in Ahmedabad now, and I travel to Mumbai every week or something. Not in this quarantine time, otherwise. Yeah. So it was not a thought given as a pre thought. It happened so that so just a time management factor was there, so that we came to Ahmedabad. It was not a thoughtful like we thought that we'll have an office in Ahmedabad. We never office also. It happened the way the work started coming to us. So we had to engage ourselves in with other teammates. So we required a premises where we can actually all come together and sit and work. So that's how it started. It was never envisioned that we will have a practice and we'll have an office, nothing like that. We just wanted to contribute in any which capacity, not just by having our own practice. It could have been anywhere. Whatever we are doing could have been doing anywhere. But it's just that we were together and we got a lot of opportunities. So we started our this journey so that we can contribute in our fraternity the way we are doing right now. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So following on this, how do you think of expanding your firm to Kutch or Bhuj or some other places near Ahmedabad or in Gujarat or in Mumbai?
As I told you, we don't think and do it in terms of office. What do you mean by expanding office? Office is a place where you work, right? So if you're going to have work in Kutch or Bhuj, obviously we'll have some place where we'll be working. So we'll have some teammates will be there who will be working. Otherwise, how can you justify the project which you're doing? I mean, we don't do this. We just send the drawing and the project happens. No, we are interested what is happening on site. I still get a lot of call every day from a site asking for some detail which is there in the drawing, but if they have some alternate detail for that or easier way, or they don't want to work so that they are asking for some easier way. So we have to control that, right? So if you have work in such an area, you go there. So it's not we want to expand our office. No, we are not thinking like expanding. It is okay how much your teammates how much your work is there. We want that many people as a team. We are not thinking to expand without having work, for sure. If we have work, we will expand, and wherever we have work, we will expand there. So we have done a project in Orissa also. We've done a project in Chandigarh also, but we are not having an office. I used to travel. It was only one project. If we might have 10 projects in Bhuj or Kutch, we will have an office for sure.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for the answer.
Are there any more questions? I guess not. So maybe we can conclude this session now.
No, wait, Ayushi. I just had one more question.
Okay.
If I could ask. So I just wanted to mention that in the third project which you showed of Narsi and Associates, which was a pre-engineered structure.
Yes.
So I've gone through your website and checked about it. So how was the interior of it was done? So in which I saw the reception area and all those
Yes.
things were made up of some different new concepts and all, like having a wall full made up of bottle cans, using the false ceiling as a thread.
Yes.
Yes, and the reception table was also quite dynamic. So in the normal industrial projects, how do you come up with these kind of ideas of having the other section, which is not the industrial working section?
So I would, Ruchita, you want to answer?
Yeah. Anyone? Yeah. So the interiors of this project.
Sorry.
You go ahead. No problem.
So basically, the interior of this project, we actually didn't do it because the specification what you are saying or the detailing which you are saying was not designed by us. It was designed by some other architect because the client, that's what we are so open to client if they are not agreeing to, because we wanted the interior to be a lot more industrial. If you see the finishes, they are not like industrial finishes. They are finishes which is otherwise also you will see anywhere. I mean, they are dynamic forms, and the planning and the layout is more or less what we had envisioned, but the finishing was not by us. It was some other architect whom the client already knew before, and they were doing that. So yeah, we didn't do the interior for that project because whatever proposal we gave to the client was required, because client wanted to also showcase his ability to finish the project, because they were into interior contracting business. And we were of the strong opinion that this building should have an industrial sort of a finishing for the office interior also. We had also designed good furniture with metal and steel, but so they had to choose between these two, and all of their team, not just the client, the whole of their team decided to go for the conventional sort of a material palette, and that's what they did. So it was not done by us, just to clarify.
Okay, so got it. Yes.
Is there anyone else with a question?
Hello. Yeah, hi, this is Mayank here.
Hi, Mayank.
Hi, Casey. Hi, Ruchi.
How are you?
So, I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, Mayank.
Yeah, sorry, I got missed in the middle. There was some connection issue. There's one question that I would like to ask both of you, that given that there are so many ideas that come during the design phase, and there are lots of hurdles that come during the execution stage, and it is not a very short period as you used to get during the design submission in the college, which is a 6 months design submission. What is it that keeps you going?
Thanks, Mayank, for asking this very good question. I think it will help the students also to understand that most of the time the design solution, so there is a clarity of thought. Okay, so this clarity of thought, if it is done at the beginning, and then you are sorted. But if you mess up in the beginning, then that process is going to eventually get long. So when the new project comes, we make sure that we give good enough time in the beginning stage and ensure that whatever we are having ideas, we do a good session. And sometimes we take the session at home and we sit and we discuss even throughout the night, and then come to a conclusion, and then it becomes very easy to express in terms of our architectural drawings or whatever it is. So that one thought, that first very thought, and giving justice to that thought, and again keeping it flexible enough to accommodate new ideas that would come tomorrow, day after, whenever. So that helps. Again, like you said, like in college, we get 6 months to do one design exercise. So for the students also, this is one request. So when you are doing design, okay, you take your whole good time, and then you would be like, we have done so much of work, and when the 5th month comes, when the submission, you start producing drawings and all, and then suddenly your in charge would say, try to change this thing, it's not coming up well or whatever, you have to really work on this aspects of it. And then you will like, what, I'm done, almost there, and how can you change the design? I want to say that do it because it will help you. In fact, if I am going to join you again as a faculty, I'm going to do that deliberately. When you're almost done at the final stage, I will say, okay, now try to incorporate these 2 more spaces, and try to change this. We don't want the entry from here or whatever, change little bit of the brief at the last moment, and you will be frustrated or whatever. You will be like, I don't want to submit. So this thing would never help during the practice, because every time, and most of the time, as the design proceeds, there are going to come new changes, and there are many things that affects clients. Some XYZ told them that you cannot have this way, and then it changes. So take it very positively. When your faculty tells you that you have to change it, and see how much evolved you have become. So no design would ever go waste. And this is what I've actually learned from Kosh, because I used to get very frustrated very fast, like this is the 10th option and come on, we're done. Kosh is like, no, you will see the difference in the 11th one, and it worked. So don't hesitate to do it again. Do it, in fact, with a very good enthusiasm, and do it nicely, and you will love it. You will enjoy doing that part later. and then you see the difference in your submission.
Yeah. So I would also add to what Ruchita is saying. Basically, we live in the world, like this new world is totally different than what actually we were living. Mayank, if you remember, our in our times, the digital camera was the
Yeah.
boon. Have cell phones a lot. Suddenly, everybody had digital cameras because they wanted to click photographs, and that's why I have documentation of because they were digital cameras. But today it's totally different. There was no WhatsApp, there was no Zoom, there was no other technology where we share the platform. Point is, the world is going to be so flexible now on. It is going to be always flexible. So that flexibility also has to be inside you. So these projects, what we have been doing, is very good. We have learned a lot of things of towards the flexibility. All our design, we try to get into that aspect very thoroughly with the problem solving attitude. So we have to solve the problem of the project or a program, but with all the flexibility which is possible. So that's what it keeps us going, because every time there are new challenges. Every time there are challenges, new materiality, new weather, new climate, new client, new choices of material, new sort of attitude or new location. So it is always different. That's what it keeps us going. Though it might be similar material palette, but the product is totally different than the earlier one. So yeah, we are interested in that always. Yeah, so that's what keeps us going.
Great.
That was some really good advice, ma'am and sir both, and very relatable, especially about the changing the design part from the in charges. So yeah, that was very encouraging also for us. So is there anyone else with a question, or should we conclude this session?
Hi, I have one question. Hi, Coach Sharuti. I have seen your work over the years, and you have a huge range of projects, right? From industrial, like today you just showed industrial projects, but like you said, you also look at product designing and things like that. So my question to you is, how do you respond to it? In the sense, your approach to it, does that change when you're looking at an industrial project compared to when you're looking at a product design? Right from reception table and all of that you've, in the offices and all that you've done, even though the material is the same, but the detailing, the design, the approach is quite different. So how do you reach there? What is your approach over there?
You want to answer, Ruchi?
Yeah. So basically, thanks Payal for asking this question, and it was nice to hear from you first of all. Payal has actually seen a lot of our projects on site, and she keeps visiting to us. So she's like a family.
Yes, yeah. It's amazing to see them work on site in office, and it's just amazing. Yeah.
The feeling is mutual, Payal. So yes, Payal, basically these detailing is like something we really enjoy, myself and Kush. And many a time we get stuck. I get stuck especially. And so I experiment with a lot of things while designing, and then I discuss with Kush with a very, I would say, a lot of innocence, considering that I'm going to be, blasted. Because then Kush is like, okay, karke dikha. So that karke dikha is that thing that I am still, I still take liberties of being a childlike individual designer who want to still play with things around, and that karke dikha chapter, because I can take these liberties because I know there is somebody who will karke dikhao, and that collaboration I think really works well. We realized we never try to take out from. I never tried to, stop him doing what he wants to do, and he never stopped me doing the way I think. Today also, after a lot of debates and all, he would say, just give it a try to this and whatever. So we realize that we have to respect your sensibilities, and then there is a experiment that happens, and when that experiment of different opinions, different variations come together, the ideas get more, you know, more parameters to develop. So these parameters eventually, like the way I would perceive to what he is sketching is different than what I'm trying to express and he's trying to perceive. So it's a very beautiful give and take that happens. And when that happens, it's like just, you know, like a party time. So it's a good celebration thing that, you know, we really enjoy doing that. So that is why you would see these, you know, even smallest to small, even if it is logo design, there's a whole lot of passion. So, you know, when a client would always say कि ये तो छोटा सा काम है, ये छोटा सा प्रोजेक्ट है, आपको तो मतलब ऐसे हो जाएगा ना, तो we tell them नहीं होगा ऐसे, because we don't see it as छोटा सा. So one example I would give here, that we were approached to design a signage for Amul, and so we took a design and we took it on another level, and we went and met MD, and then he was so overwhelmed with the whole identity that we tried to create. So next time, maybe probably, or on the website you can see, we create a sculpture for Amul and with their history and their identity. So the signage got another definition, because we never treated it as a signage, you know, that's something just like a board. We treated it as another, you know, visual experience to whoever visits, because Amul is something really big that happened to our country, and it is something really good that happened at that time. So we still respect, and then the premises also had, you know, alumni from our college. So a lot of history goes, a lot of these inspirations come around, and so yes, we take all of them into consideration. Push.
Yeah, so Payal, I would add to what Ruchita is saying. See, as an architect, what we generally try to do is add value to whatever we are trying to do. With all the layered parameters together, we see all the layered parameters together, right? Even if it is a town planning project or a furniture, there are in terms of material, user, cost, basic, it's
Your voice is
execution. It's
Your
execution.
voice is breaking.
yeah,
My
yeah.
okay. How can you hear?
Yes.
I'm
Yes,
saying
yes.
we generally try to add value to what we do, right? Everybody, not just us. Everybody try as a designer or as an artist. What we try to do is add value to what or we have considered. They are layered parameters. You hear now?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I was saying, I already repeated twice.
Sorry.
Problem. So, as a designer, what we always try to do is we try to add value to whatever we are doing. May it be a town planning scheme, may it be an industrial factory building, or may it be an exhibition center, or a small sculpture or a small chair design. You know, but all the all the things has a different layered parameters like climate, cost, materiality, aesthetics, its prototypicalness, or how much time it's going to repeat it or not repeated, whatever parameters are there. So everything has a different parameters. So while solving all the parameters, we are the same people who design or who is doing value addition to particular thing. So we see any project or any brief or any problem in that way. So it may be a chair, or it may be a MD table, or it may be exhibition hall. But whatever is pertaining, or whatever parameters are pertaining to that function, we have to take care of each and every function, each and every parameter for that function, and we try to solve it. That's it, and add value to it. So yeah, so it's not a scale changing. It's just that we have to be very clear that what all parameters are applied or applicable to that function, and you have to apply all those parameters and design accordingly.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so I guess we would love to continue this discussion, but we are running out of time.
Correct.
So, we can conclude for now, and it would be great to have you both whenever this quarantine ends and whenever college starts, so we can have a follow up on the projects you showed us and maybe show us more projects and
Yeah.
have one-on-one discussion. So that would be great. And we had a lot to take away and very interesting projects that you showed us. So thank you, and thank you for doing this talk.
Thank you. Thank you. We would love to talk to students for sure. We like to do this. We have not been doing this since long time actually. Thanks for inviting us.
Yes, sir. So we can end for now, and thank you once again.
Thank you very much.